Hey everyone, my name is Nitin. I'm one of the co-founders of Classcard. Today we are at Aspire Gymnastics and we're going to be meeting someone truly inspiring. Her name is Elke Vinck. She's the co-founder of Aspire Gymnastics. Elke is not just a coach, she's also a top-level athlete. She's also represented her nation in both judo and rugby. Hi Elke, thanks for having us. I can't wait to hear more about Aspire Gymnastics and your story.
Yes, most welcome.
Thank you so
welcome
much.
in Aspire. I think it's your first time here.
It is my first time here and I love the place. It's massive.
Yeah, it's a nice facility. It was actually one of the first ones in Dubai where they had a built-in foam pit and, the sitting area, spectators area. So, yeah, we're very proud of this.
Amazing. Well, congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'd love to see your facility if you could maybe walk me through.
Yeah, I will give you a tour.
So, Elke, tell me a little bit about Aspire Gymnastics, the story behind it, how do you start, etc.
Because my kids were doing a lot of gymnastics. At some point, one of their coaches said that he wanted to start on his own. We're talking 11 years ago. And we started together with him, buying a little bit of equipment. And my husband also agreed. He said, as long as our kids can train, then it's all good for us. And then after 2.5 years, we had a lot of clients because we were based in Almizar area. It grew very fast because there was no other gymnastics facilities in that area at that time for children. So we then had a dream to maybe have our own place because it's a little bit easier. It gives you more options. Before we were based in a school, so we had to set up all the equipment every day.
Wow.
And having our own place gave us the option to organize events in the weekend, organize competitions. We were not restricted with school appointments. For example, if a school has their event in the sports hall, we were not allowed to rent the sports hall and so on. So then we found this beautiful facility. Our plan was not to keep the other branch open, but in the transition period, we had both running and then we saw it was working in both locations. So we also stayed in the school. And then after COVID, the school was not an option anymore. We were not allowed in the school. So then we rented another warehouse in that same area. And then here at that point, we offered a lot of disciplines. So we have artistic gymnastics, acrobatics gymnastics, trampoline and rhythmic gymnastics. And there was not enough space on the floor because we have only 2 floors and all the disciplines require floor space. So then also we started to rent another facility not far from here in DIP. So now we have 3 branches actually. So we never really had this as a goal, or it wasn't really very commercially that we targeted to grow this big. It just kind of like happened, and yeah, we're happy. We go with how things are going. We grow organically.
For parents who are watching us, what should be an ideal age for a parent to enroll their child in gymnastics? A good starting point for them?
Ideally, they start as young as possible, but our age cap is usually 3 years old because a 3-year-old starts to understand what it means to wait in the line, to wait their turn, and so on. And they understand a little bit already the discipline to take their turn or to give somebody else their turn. They start to listen also to the coach. So occasionally a younger child is able to do this. So we do a trial class, and if we see that they're ready, so we say 3 years in general, but it's still based on the child, on a makeup class, on a trial class that we do with the child, because not everyone is capable. Some kids, they are close to 4 when they start. Some kids, they're a little bit younger than 3 years old. It really depends of the child. And it's important that the child is ready, because if they are not, then we don't want to brusque them or force them into a sport that they don't really want to do yet. They need to understand also a little bit the concept. And usually gymnastics, till the age of 16, the girls and boys are doing it. After that, if they're really into the sport and if they have good competition results, they continue. But 16 years old is also a little bit the time where they decide to either do something else or they focus on their studies. So that's also usually the limit.
Okay, very interesting, very interesting.
We have few adults as well, but we mainly focus on children's classes.
Gotcha. All right, thanks. So Elke, tell me a little bit about what does your day look like, a normal day at Aspire for you?
So my day starts usually in the morning pretty early because I also have kids myself. So first some stuff with my kids, but then the working day. In the morning, I have to do a lot of paperwork, renewal of the visas, stuff like this. So to make sure that our staff have all the documents that they need. And then, of course, also company documents, licensing, and so on. Because, yeah, you don't realize when you start a business how much time goes into all of this, AMC contracts for the facility to keep clean and so on. But then usually our classes start in the afternoon. On the weekdays at least, because kids go to school, so they usually can only start in the afternoon. So our classes start at 3:45, and so on, and later. So once the classes start, I'm usually in the gym with my colleagues. I man the reception, so we welcome our clients. We see that all the kids go to the correct groups, and we make sure that the coaches also have a good apparatus schedule, because as you can see, there is a lot of equipment here. And as we have in this facility 15 coaches working simultaneously, we need a good organization. They need to know exactly at 3 I start, for example, on the beam, at 3:40 I go to the bars, and so on. So they have a fixed schedule in order to make sure that all the kids touch each apparatus a little bit every single session, and that the coaches, of course, don't have to fight over getting the proper equipment for their children. So yeah, lots of logistics actually, my working day, lots of computer. That's why we wear reading glasses now, because my work is mainly on the computer.
Okay, all right. So tell me a little bit about, I'm sure like there's so many things that you do. You say that you start early in the morning and then you get to the club, etc. Tell me a little bit about your challenges, your day-to-day challenges. How do you kind of overcome them?
I think mainly the challenges are that, documentation and stuff, everything with the governments, you just follow the steps. Sometimes they change rules and regulations, but that's okay. I don't mind to look into this, and everything sorts itself out eventually. So mainly just stay calm would be my advice. But then, of course, with regards to our clients, with our gymnasts, we're working with children, we're working with their parents, we're working with coaches. It's all very personal. So we have to make sure that we find the right group for each child. Some children, they like a strict coach. Other children, they like somebody who is treating them maybe a little bit more motivational in a different way. Some kids, they do better when everything is well organized. Other kids, they like it a bit more chaotic. So we need to find the right energy for each child. So when we see a child during a trial class, we try to find how is this kid responding to this coach. And if it doesn't work out, mainly my job and my 2 colleagues at reception, it's our task to find the right group for them. So to find a coach that represents the energy that they need to bring the best out of them. And I think this is the hardest part, because sometimes it takes a bit of time to find the right match. But when you do find the right match, usually they're in it for the long term. So it's always rewarding when you then see, okay, this was a correct choice from us. And then, the kids feel comfortable and they love the sport, and then they keep going.
Elke, tell me, what would you say are like the long-term benefits of gymnastics?
So gymnastics is actually a very all-round sport. We work on so many different aspects. So even if a child is not 100% into gymnastics and after 2-3 years they want to evolve to another sport, we give them so many basics, going from core strength, leg strength, upper body strength, flexibility, coordination, and so on. So it's such an all-round sport that it gives you a good basic for any other sport. When parents ask me, I always say a child should start with gymnastics as one of their first sports. And ideally in this country also swimming, because swimming, if you fall in pool, at least to be able to save yourself. Yeah. But I think those are the 2 most important sports for a child. And then if they want to do a team sport, something with a ball, to have also the coordination of a ball sport is a nice addition. But I think gymnastics should always be the basics for any child.
Okay. One more question. Are there any prerequisites, anything or any requirements for before a kid starts gymnastics?
For us, ideally, if they are pretty young, they're still moldable, so we can do a good job with any child. And the advantage of Aspire Gymnastics is that we have so many different disciplines. So when they come for a trial class, for example, here, where we do mainly artistic gymnastics, and we see that a child is very flexible naturally, we might advise them to also do a trial class for example, rhythmic gymnastics, where flexibility is a little bit more of a requirement. And then the child can choose what they like the most, because on one hand, it's important that your body is capable of doing certain things, but on the other hand, it's also very important you're motivated and you like what you're doing, because then, of course, you will be more into it, you will put more effort, and it will keep you motivated the whole time. So basically, you don't have to have any background. This is our job to teach you what we need to get out of it.
Okay, so I see that you have so many, let's say, not very interesting things also in the day. All I say the admin stuff, etc., etc. I feel that's where like Classcard would come in and take care of your boring stuff, while you can focusing on like training champions, speaking with parents, having a more personalized approach at the academy.
Yes, actually, when we first started, we started to work with Excel, and then all the waivers and everything, people had to sign everything on paper versions. We had to transfer then everything manually into the system. So firstly, that takes a lot of time. Secondly, also, you risk to have a lot of mistakes. It took me a long time. I think for 3 years, I was deciding we really need a program to help us out a little bit. Payments linked to the classes, the coaches have access to seeing who they're coaching on a daily basis and so on. But it really took me time to transfer from a huge database in Excel to an online system. And it was basically when I met with your team that they convinced me to take that big step. It took us also a long time to get everything implemented, because we have 3 branches, so many coaches in each branch. But once we got going, I think everyone was really happy with this step forward, because the main difference for our staff is that all the coaches have access now to their kids, whereas before with the Excel sheets, we didn't share it with them all. And then for us, for the administrative side of things, the payments that are directly linked in the system, that is a huge difference. Also the fact that there is payment reminders sent to the clients automatically, so we have a little bit less work. Oh, and a big thing is also the attendance. Whereas before we would do that manually on paper, and then when somebody would say, we missed a few classes, we had to go through our whole folder and count them manually again. So that is a life-saving difference for us. It's really a huge step forward. And I think that is actually maybe the work of a full-time staff member that is saved just by having everything in one system online. Okay,
time for some rapid-fire questions. Describe your role at Aspire in one word.
Logistics, I think.
3 things you can't function without.
My computer, my brain, and my reading glasses.
Okay. So, Elke, where do you see Aspire Gymnastics in 5 years?
Oh, that's a tough one. I hope that we can keep going as we are, evolve, maybe use some more technology in the future, because I saw that Classcard really changed things around for us. I hope we can continue to compete abroad, that other clubs will continue to come from abroad here. That will make me very proud and happy.
Wonderful, wonderful. How do you think AI is going to impact gymnastics training?
I think sports should remain a sport, but I also heard rumors that they are trying to implement a judging system that is AI oriented, so that it is becoming less subjective and a bit more objective. So let's see what the future brings for us at that level.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Well, Elke, this has been fantastic. Seeing your passion firsthand has been truly inspiring. If you're in the area and if you're looking for a gymnastics club for you or your child, then Aspire Gymnastics is the place to be. If you're an academy owner looking to simplify your business, then check out Classcard. Thank you for watching. I'll see you at the next one.